At first glance, it sounds like just another defense headline, the kind that flashes past on a news ticker and disappears. India builds a massive 110-meter patrol ship for the Philippine Coast Guard. But when you slow down and really look at what's happening here, this story is much bigger than steel, engines, and contracts. It's about geopolitics shifting quietly in Asia, about two countries finding common ground in the ocean, and about how ships like this can change lives far away from boardrooms and shipyards. Imagine standing on a dock at dawn. The air smells of salt and fuel. Fishermen are already out at sea, silhouettes against the early light. For a long time, the Philippine Coast Guard has had to patrol one of the largest maritime zones in the world with limited resources. Over 7,000 islands, endless coastlines, busy sea lanes, and waters that are not only rich in fish, but also in tension. Smuggling, illegal fishing, human trafficking, piracy, search and rescue missions during typhoons, and increasingly, the pressure of regional power politics. That's the backdrop against which this ship is being built. Now, shift your mind thousands of kilometers west to an Indian shipyard. Sparks fly as welders join thick steel plates. Engineers walk with tablets and blueprints. The hull of a 110-meter vessel slowly takes shape, block by block. This is not a small boat. At 110 meters long, this patrol ship is closer to a small warship than a simple Coast Guard cutter. It's designed to stay at sea for long periods, to operate in rough waters, and to act as a visible symbol of presence. India's involvement here is not accidental. Over the past decade, India has been steadily expanding its role as a defense and security partner in the Indo-Pacific region. This is part of a broader strategy often described as Act East, where India looks beyond South Asia and deepens ties with Southeast Asian nations. The Philippines, facing growing challenges in its maritime domain, fits squarely into this picture. For the Philippine Coast Guard, this ship represents capability. Real, tangible capability. A vessel of this size can carry advanced navigation systems, radar, communication equipment, and even aviation facilities like a helipad. That means better coordination during search and rescue operations. It means faster response times when a distress call comes in from a sinking fishing boat or a passenger ferry in trouble. It means being able to stay on station longer, without having to turn back because of fuel or endurance limits. But beyond the humanitarian role, there's also the hard reality of maritime security. The waters around the Philippines have become increasingly crowded and contested. Large foreign fishing fleets operate aggressively. Gray zone activities blur the line between civilian and military actions. In these situations, Coast Guard ships are often the first line of response, not Navy warships. A large patrol vessel sends a message without escalating directly to military confrontation. It says, "We are here. We are watching. This is our responsibility." Inside the ship, the design reflects modern Coast Guard needs. There are accommodations for a sizable crew, but also space for additional personnel, such as rescue teams or law enforcement units. Medical facilities on board can mean the difference between life and death when someone is injured far from shore. Detention areas allow for the lawful handling of suspects involved in illegal activities at sea. Every corridor, every compartment, has a purpose tied to real-world missions. From India's perspective, building this ship is also about showcasing its shipbuilding industry. Indian shipyards have come a long way. Once seen as primarily focused on domestic needs, they are now competing internationally, offering vessels that are cost-effective but increasingly sophisticated. Exporting a large patrol ship to the Philippines signals confidence. It tells other countries in the region that India is capable of delivering complex maritime platforms on time and to specification. There's also the human connection between the crews. When the ship is completed and handed over, Filipino Coast Guard officers and sailors will likely train alongside Indian counterparts. They'll learn the systems, the maintenance routines, the operational philosophies behind the vessel. Friendships form during these exchanges. Professional respect grows. Over time, this kind of cooperation builds trust that goes far beyond a single contract. Think about the symbolism, too. A ship built in India, sailing under the Philippine flag, patrolling Southeast Asian waters. It's a physical embodiment of a partnership that didn't exist at this scale a generation ago. It reflects a multipolar Asia, where countries look to multiple partners instead of relying on just one major power. For ordinary Filipinos, this ship might never be seen directly, yet it still matters. When a typhoon hits and ferries capsize, it's the Coast Guard that races against time. When fishermen go missing, it's Coast Guard ships that search through waves and darkness. A larger, more capable patrol vessel increases the odds of rescue. It increases coverage. It saves lives quietly, without headlines. There's also an economic angle. Secure seas are essential for trade. The Philippines relies heavily on maritime routes for imports and exports. Ensuring that these routes are safe from crime and disruption supports economic stability. A strong Coast Guard is part of that invisible infrastructure that keeps daily life running. The size of the ship itself tells a story. At 110 meters, it's designed for offshore patrol, not just coastal waters. That means it can operate in the country's exclusive economic zone, far from land. It can stay out for weeks, not days. It can act as a command platform, coordinating smaller vessels and aircraft. In many ways, it becomes a floating headquarters. Critics might ask whether such investments escalate tensions. It's a fair question. But Coast Guard vessels, unlike naval destroyers or frigates, are fundamentally about law enforcement and safety. They operate under different rules of engagement. They are meant to de-escalate, to manage situations before they spiral. In a region where misunderstandings can quickly become dangerous, that distinction matters. The ship's construction process itself is a lesson in modern engineering. Modular construction allows different sections to be built simultaneously, speeding up the timeline. Advanced materials improve durability and reduce maintenance needs. Environmental considerations, such as fuel efficiency and waste management systems, reflect growing awareness of sustainability even in security vessels. As the hull nears completion, there's a moment every shipyard worker recognizes. The ship stops being just a project number or a contract obligation. It becomes something more. A vessel with a future, with stories yet to be written. Soon, it will touch water for the first time, sliding down the slipway in a controlled rush. Champagne breaks against steel. Applause echoes. It's a ritual, ancient and modern at the same time. Once commissioned, the ship's life truly begins. It will face storms, long nights, and tense encounters. It will host inspections, rescues, drills, and routine patrols that never make the news. Over years, paint will fade. Equipment will be upgraded. Crews will rotate. Yet its core mission remains the same: to serve and protect at sea. This single patrol ship also fits into a larger pattern. India and the Philippines have been strengthening defense ties through training, exercises, and equipment cooperation. This deal complements those efforts. It shows that collaboration is not limited to talk or symbolic gestures. It's practical, measurable, and operational. For India, there's pride involved, too. Seeing a ship built by Indian hands operate effectively abroad reinforces national confidence. It supports jobs, skills development, and technological growth at home. Defense exports are not just about money. They're about standing in the global arena as a reliable partner. Zoom out even further, and this story reflects how the nature of security is changing. Power is no longer only about aircraft carriers and missiles. It's about presence, resilience, and cooperation. A patrol ship may not dominate headlines like a fighter jet, but its impact is often more direct, more human. When this 110-meter patrol ship finally docks in a Philippine port, it will look imposing against the skyline. Yet its true value will be measured not in meters or tons, but in missions completed, lives saved, and crises quietly prevented. It will be there in the background, day after day, doing its job. So when you hear that India is building a massive patrol ship for the Philippine Coast Guard, remember that it's more than a transaction. It's a bridge across the ocean. It's a statement of shared interests and mutual respect. And it's a reminder that sometimes the most important changes in the world arrive not with noise and spectacle, but with the steady hum of engines and the silent watch of a ship on the horizon.